obviously you have to have the room, but it's really does the job. And I'm sure you're quite extremely happy, and also the fact that no line flattener required for $38.95. So congratulations on that. And okay on the Palomar Fire slash. Well, I didn't write it down, but I guess maybe Grove Fire. That's right. What a memory. But hopefully everything will be fine. And generally it is, but sometimes it's not. And that's one ham friend here who is Jerry, W6JRY, lives in Forest Ranch. And I was looking at CAL FIRE earlier this afternoon and saw that he's in the mandatory evacuation zone, and he's on the east side of what's Highway 32, and that's essentially the last stand to keep it out of Magalia and maybe back into Paradise, which I think that's probably about 5 miles away. So that's quite a hop for the fire, but it's been very successful at progressing, so we'll see what happens. So hopefully Jerry's going to be fine in his living space, and I know he's also providing a caregiver for his wife who has one of the forms of dementia. So it's complicated for the folks, and some of the price you pay for living in God's country, in the woods, in a wooded area, but that's the setup there. So this is W7MS. Anybody else wishing to join the earlies for the Friday Evening Collins Collectors Association, give me a call. Mike, W7MS. Well, shucks, nothing heard, any relays, and if that isn't the case, we need to hear from Lisa, KF6QNG, W7MS.
You want to hear from the old me? I'm just, sitting here paying attention and listening to the conversation. So, the fire is just, we're fortunate. We complain about the smoke and that, but it's nothing compared to those that are facing the fire head on or in the fire's path. So we're very thankful that we are nice, as I like to tell Dennis, nice, flat, boring land. We're not going to slide down a mountain. We're not going to burn up in the forest. And we're not going to drown in the water. So, although I wonder if Ridgecrest knows something. I saw a sign today. It was posted on the stop sign post. And there's an arrow pointing to turn left, and it says stop. But, yeah, that's very useful around here. I guess, but it just looks weird to see a sign for both. I know we have a Navy base here. Not that common. Anyway. So back to you, Mike. W7MS from KF6QNG.
That's funny. Yeah, and some real irony there. But it doesn't mean, I guess you can tow your boat to the lake, and I'm sure I have no idea what the closest recreation area is, but it's not just down the street. That's a funny one, and in the naval base aspect also. But they're working on all that secret stuff over there. But as Dennis and I knew, and you probably have met Greg, who passed away several years ago, retired out of that base there. But that's great. So anybody else wishing to join us, give me a call, W7MS. Well, we hear you, George. The propagation gods are working for Mike and Reno, so go ahead and take a short one. Good evening.
All right, Dennis, not too strong tonight, but I hear you, or I hope you're hearing me okay. I just got out into the radio room, turned on the equipment, heard Lisa. She sounded pretty good, pretty strong. And so back to you, my friend, W7MS, W6YT, Lemonwood.
Well, thank you, George. Yeah, you're Q5, straddling, you know what I mean. It's a toss-up, but Odds are things are only going to get better, and one advantage I have tonight is I'd commented to the net manager when he was soliciting a response from me as to whether I was available for tonight. I said all the thunderstorm activity is abated, and that kind of matches the change in high temperatures. But definitely had some rocking and rolling thunderstorms over this week. Yeah, it's typical with thunderstorms. Very little precipitation at this specific location, but you go a few miles in either direction and they had localized flooding. So them's the breaks. But tonight's great. I think noise floor here isn't excellent by a lot of folks' standards, but S8, I'll take it. It's not bad at all. So anybody else for the West Coast Friday evening Collins Net, give me a call, W7MS.
06 off of Sierra November.
Well, hello, Raul. How's the microwave in this day? Do you have the oven going tonight, W7MS?
The microwave is going good. The deadline is really approaching for the August portion of the crankcase contest. Really optimistically hoping to make it for the September portion of it, but we'll see how it goes. I got the boards, and replacement boards, and the boards to replace those boards here, and the components. So it's just a matter of stop running up boards and getting this thing together and working. It was a good excuse to get the test bench back up and going as a means to procrastinate. So that worked out well. But yeah, other than that, not a lot going on. I'll pass it back to you from KCJSM.
Well, okay, Raul. Yeah, I always find it the irony. You folks being in the populated state of California is actually an opportunity to pursue microwave point-to-point between fellow amateurs. I think in Nevada, it's the population centers are Clark County and Washoe County. There might be some other interest out there, but I'm not even aware of it. So it means that you could be a microwave enthusiast, but you'd probably be better bouncing it off of, say, a passive reflector and talking to yourself. That would probably be your only chance. Anybody else for the Friday evening Collins Net, W7MS? Anything heard? Any relays?
This is KD7TOA, Dave in Vegas.
Well, hi, Dave. I haven't talked to you in a couple of months. How you doing? KB7TOA, W7MS.
I'm doing fine. I'm just, just suffering in the heat down here, but getting a little better. I guess it's Vegas, so we're not too surprised.
Yeah, we just a side story. We had our local president, or I should say chairman. He's also a national board member for the QCWA. And he suffered heat distress in Vegas a few weeks ago and ended up in the hospital. And he's got a great story about that, about a little bit of dehydration and heat stroke. But yeah, but he's from northern Nevada, so I guess he's not a heavyweight like you guys.
I don't really know how much of it we can take. I used to work on it, but I'm past that now. So if I'm out in the heat too long, I start realizing I need to get out of the heat and need to an air conditioner, at least get in the shade. You can't overheat that.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, I think it's time to read the preamble, so we're going to do that. This is W7MS Whiskey 7 Mexico Sierra. My name is Mike, and my location is City of Reno, state of Nevada, actually in Washoe County. I'll be your net control station today. Welcome to the regular Friday evening West Coast edition of the Collins Collectors Association Collins Net. We meet here every Friday evening at 7 p.m. Pacific Time, 0200 UTC Saturday, to exchange information on Collins-related topics. We welcome questions and comments on the restoration and operation of Collins amateur, military, and commercial gear. You don't have to be running Collins equipment to join us. Anyone with an interest in Collins Radio is welcome to check in. The purpose of the CCA is to promote the preservation, restoration, and use of Collins amateur radio equipment and to preserve the history and lore of Collins Radio. In addition, we provide a technical and historical information archive for Collins Radio information. The CCA is licensed by Rockwell Collins to use images, logos, manuals, and printed materials. For more information about the Collins Collectors Association, its forums, activities, and services, and how to become a member, please visit our website at www.collinsradio.org. That's Collins Radio, one word, .org. Please help our efforts by joining the Collins Collectors Association. And for added additional fun during the net, join us on Zoom. We have a weekly Zoom session during the CCA net. Send an email to w6dq@arrl.net if you would like to join in. Make sure you identify yourself. Identify who you are in the email, maybe an exciting subject line to grab Dennis's attention. But that's the setup here. And W7MS Mike in Reno. I'm running the usual stuff as net control, the Rockwell Collins HF380, the 548 U5 servo-tuned 3500Z amplifier built in Ontario, up in Canada. In Ontario there, not Ontario, where was that built? But somewhere up in the Great White North at Collins Radio of Canada. And that's the setup here, just a simple dipole, coax fed, and cut for in and about this frequency, and a little bit of voice processing with a condenser microphone. So maybe a little too much bass, but it's about the best I can do with what I've got for EQ. So that's the lowdown here. And anybody else wishing to join us, and we'll get the rotation rolling here. W7MS.
WJ6W.
Well, hello, Dave and Tarzana. Why don't you take a short one, and we'll start from the top. But since you're at the bottom, say hello.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Mike. WJ6W, yes, in Tarzana, where it hit, only 100 today, maybe a little over. We've been hitting 107, 108, and I walked in here a few minutes ago, and I heard Dennis saying it's really hot up there, and they've got smoke causing an overcast, basically. So we feel for you guys out there, Dennis. Anyway, we'll send it back to you, and let you get started with the net. W7MS, WJ6W.
Okay, well, thank you, Dave. Great, good signal out of Tarzana, and things will only get better. So great to hear you, and fine on your high. And I didn't want to divulge this, but I just looked at the old weather station, and it's a very pleasant 85 degrees outside. And I turned off the AC before I walked into Studio A, and I think it's about 76 in the house. So take that, and it's going to be quite a pleasant evening here in the burbs of Reno. So we're gonna kick this off with Dennis W6DQ, and I'm sure he has some updates for us, and Lisa KF6QNG. And then over to Ken KW1NG, and then maybe we'll finish up with George W6YEC, and take a shout out for any other folks that may want to join us. So, Dennis, take it away. W6DQ, W7MS.
Okay, Mike, thank you. W7MS in the Collins net, W6DQ, Dennis here in Inyo Current, where it's actually right now 96 degrees, down from a high of 106 today. It was 106 here at the ranch, and in town it was higher than that. It was like 107 in Ridgecrest. I had to drive into Ridgecrest and drop off my truck today. The air conditioning isn't working. Oh joy! When I started it up and pulled out of the driveway, it was 111 in the thermometer in the truck, and it's pretty accurate. But that's measuring the temperature of the vehicle, so it was a little warm today. But yeah, the smoke is pretty rotten up here. We got a big fire burning to the west, quite a ways to the west. It's clear over on the other side of the mountains from here, but the smoke is getting over here because the wind is blowing like mad. So it's kind of rough. So yeah, the overcast with smoke is what we're seeing. It's crazy. Anyway, let's see. Tonight we're running the S line, 75S3C, 32S3A, 30S1, SM3 mic out to the horizontal loop. It looks like we're peaking around somewhere around 900 to 1,000 watts out on the old watt meter here. So it's doing its job. I'm happy about that. Let's see, what else is going on? Mike, you mentioned, and I just drew a blank. Jerry, I've met him many times down here. He would come and hang out down here with us on Thursday mornings. We'd go for donuts and coffee, a little donut shop here. And a couple of the guys here knew him, used to work with him here when he lived here in Ridgecrest. So, yeah, I was really sorry to hear what happened to him. That was a drag. But we've lost a couple of other friends here in the area over the last couple of years. Quite a surprise, actually. One of the guys had a massive heart attack and just retired, and really kind of sad. Good guy, and he was a great help when Jim here was still alive, and he'd help Jim with his antenna work. He worked for the cable company and had a cherry picker that he drove for the cable company. He'd come out, bucket lift, and he'd come out and work on antennas with Jim out here. So that was pretty cool, and it's sad to lose him. Let's see, what else? Ken, congratulations on the good news there. That's awesome, my friend. And 7300, if you're running it barefoot, it's doing a great job up here. Everybody sounds fantastic. And Raul, keep at the microwaves. Mike, you might be surprised that given the right equipment, you don't have to worry about being somewhere where there's not many hams on 10 gigahertz because you have all kinds of enhancements going on. The mountains create an enhancement. You can talk to people on the other side of the mountains. We get temperature inversions down here in Southern California that allow us to get 600-mile plus communications on 10 gigahertz. And the other thing is that a mountain is a reflector at 10 gigs, so you can talk to anybody. If you've got two people who can see the same pile of rocks, you can talk to each other. It works really, really well. So that's some of the stuff we've learned here over the last couple of decades in Southern California. You don't have to be running huge amounts of power. I run 10 watts on 10 gigahertz, and that's more than enough to do whatever I need to do. So there you go. Anyway, for Lisa, KF6QNG and the Collins Net W6GQ.
Okay, thank you. Thank you again, Mike, for running the net this evening. Small list, but hey, the important people are here, so. Just been really crazy with work and just trying to cram in as much as I can before I pull the plug, and it's getting just insane. So not going to accomplish all that I had hoped to before I depart, but CLD, this is life. Hopefully I'll at least get most of the important stuff, things caught up, and get some things documented, so whoever ends up taking it over, anyway. See what's going to happen. It's going to be interesting, to say the least. So with that, I'm going to go get that over to Ken, KW1MG from KF6QNG.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Yeah, I was telling the early check-ins a little while ago that I had a PET scan to check if my cancer, I have prostate cancer, and to check if it had spread or not, and it has not. I got the results this morning, so good day. Celebrate. And so we did. I had a filet mignon tonight for dinner. It was so good. Oh, man. Wow. Yeah, sorry about your friend Jerry. My gosh. Yeah, my father-in-law ran a company called Communications Company of all names. Interesting. They did meeting services and conventions and all kinds of audio-visual work. Anyway, he was 72, had bought and sold had sold the company and bought it back a few years earlier, and finally got it to where he had transferred ownership to the employees and retired, went over to Phoenix to visit his girlfriend, and dropped dead that week on the golf course. Talk about, man. So, those heart attacks sneak up on you, so take care of the ticker. And rocks being reflectors, yeah. We have a friend here a few miles away. He's down in a ravine, and he can't get out of the ravine on 2 meters. But he does have a couple of 11-element beams. It's called WA6FFT. And he points them at different rocks around him, and he can hit different repeaters that way. So he's making use of the rock repeaters as well, the rock effect. So he's a pretty interesting character. Does great on Invis, though. Man, on the low bands on Invis, no problem. So, all right. On to George, W6YEC, KW1NG.
All right, Tim, thank you very much. Yeah, we heard the good news from Ken earlier today. We have at 5 o'clock on this frequency. And so we were rejoicing with him and all that good news he had today. Very good. Okay. And signals are very nice. 20 over for Dennis and Lisa. And I think I got my KWM2 all fixed last week. I was just tired of it dropping off on me. I thought I was going to have to pull it out of the cabinet. And it's got the power supply attached in the back, so that was going to be just challenging. And I've got all the wires harnessed back there nicely. And turned out to be a adjustment, a capacitor for the alignment. And it was there in the driver's seat. So got that all cleaned up, and I think we're okay. I tested it last night on the drink net, and it passed mustard. So here we are tonight, looking pretty good. Hitting 500 watts on the 30L watts, so very happy about that. So I didn't have to pull this thing off the shelf. It's a little more difficult for me to do that kind of stuff these days than it used to be. Anyway, wonder if anybody knows a sharp Kenwood person. I've got a Kenwood ES 450 that came in. It's kind of an interesting problem. Very little audio, and it sounds like the audio is down on the receive side too. I'm thinking maybe it's a regulator transistor. And I don't have a manual, so I'm going to have to get a manual on it and see what I can find. Anyway, it belonged to a friend of mine, and I got it for him a few years ago. And it just went out while he was using it. And so we got him a new radio. One of our guys had a Kenwood ES4E, a couple of them. It's bought brand new at HRO before he closed here. So took that over to Richard's house and set it up for him. I told him to grab me under the radio, and I'll take some time to see what I can do with it. So I'd like to know the guys on this problem. I've never been into a 450 before. They're not a whole lot different than 430s and 440s. A little bit, so anyway, just thought I'd look around and see if I could get some input. I looked online, I didn't see anything related to the problem that we're having. So putting out full power in the SM position, so I know the amplifier is okay. The output station's fine. It's an audio issue for sure that's affecting the receive as well as the transmit. So it's kind of interesting. Anyway, have one of my sons coming into town tonight. We picked him up at the airport at midnight. He and a grandson. So that's going to be fun. They'll be with us for about a week and a half or so. And looking forward to seeing Fletcher and Daniel tonight. All right. I guess it's back to you here, Mike. W7MS, W6YC.
Well, thank you, George, W6YC, and the Friday Evening Collins Collectors Association at W7MS. Well, excellent reception from all. And we'll start with you, George. Well, good job on the, good luck and good job on the TS 450 Kenwood. I guess a manual would be nice or a referral fix, but don't know. Can't offer any really substantial information on this end. Could offer worthless information, but we won't waste the net's time. So I think you're on the lead there as far as troubleshooting and fault isolation. So it sounds like a relatively easy fix once you get some documentation and find on the sun rolling into town. Congratulations on that, but midnight. So I'm kind of curious, in your location, is it San Diego where you do the pickup drop-off for the air visit there? But good job on that. And of course, Ken, again, congratulations on the positive test results. And the other comments on you never know, one day at a time, I guess, would be the presumptive word on that situation. And Lisa, well, it sounds like you're really trying to lay some good foundation for your replacement, but I think when the time comes, you're retired and you've done what you can do. And that's maybe the best you can do, unless you get invited out to lunch. I was invited out to lunch several times by my replacement. Kind of portrayed as a social occasion, but mostly it was to pick my brain and ask me questions, and that was just fine. I got a free lunch out of it also, so it was a win-win for both of us. And Dennis, I knew when I mentioned that the microwave in Nevada that I would get you fired up, and it worked. That's what I mentioned. You would have comments, and good job on that, and great signal. And let me comment before I take any earlies, any additional. They're not earlies; they're additional check-ins. But I received the latest edition of the Signal magazine in the mail this afternoon. And some nice articles on a automatic call director, an ACD that Collins had produced, and I enjoyed that because it dropped mention there of MCI communications on several occasions, and it was nice to see that my late former employer way back in a different lifetime was received some shout outs in the Signal. Nice article from Scott regarding solder and solder alloys, percentage-wise between tin and lead, and he also throws in silver solder, also at 2%, and the two types of rosin flux, and his attempt to replicate the olden solder joints that were kind of like grainy and not shiny, which were basically, I guess, 50-50 mix. Not the most common alloy for solder these days, but it was an interesting article, and he did that. And the other exciting, interesting thing was Scott and I had been conversing on a subject for a United Kingdom radio, my PRC 316 Special Forces radio, on the wireless set 19 reflector, which is managed out of the UK, Hup Hup. And he finally, after doing these exchanges, I knew who he was, but he didn't know who I was. But he looked on the QRZ page, and sent me a private email asking me if I was a member of the CCA. So I replied, yes. Yes, I am, Scott, and nice to meet you. And I know he's been pretty fervent at posting here the past few weeks concerning MOSFETs, audio, and R392s. I think that was his latest contribution to the CCA reflector. So nice to get the Signal magazine. There's some shots of Dayton. I won't get into more specific than that, but there's somebody riding a power chair with an HQ100 in the back bin on that power chair right next to the Collins van. So I wonder about that person. But with that, W7MS. Anybody else wishing to join us? I'll add you to the list. Give me a call, W7MS.
Bravo Delta.
Well, hello, Mel. How you doing? WA6JBD.
Well, I'm doing okay. Sorry I'm late. I've been out in the desert and came back a little bit too late to warm up the radio and so on. So I'm on the 7300 and the Americon amplifier tonight. But I am with you guys in Collins Spirit at Florence.
Well, I feel the power. I just put my hand on top of the HF380, and I could feel the power of your station there. So Mel, let me see if there's anybody else. Give me a call, W7MS. Anybody else wishing to join us? So you know what, Mel? Since you're tail end Charlie, I'm going to start you off first. WA6JBD. And, of course, Mike in Reno, and just a refresher there, running the Rockwell Collins HF380 and the 548U5 amplifier, about 1,100 watts to a simple coax fed dipole cut for in about this frequency. So, Mel, you're going to be number one on this route. You are number one. So WA6JBD, Mel, you turn it over to Dennis. Oh, hold on a second. Oh, erase. I can't even read my notes. Sorry, Raul. Tell you what, we're going to turn it over to Raul, W6ASN, then over to Dave, WJ6W, and then over to Mel, WA6JBD, and then Mel back to me. How's that sound? Dennis, just fire me. So, Raul, take it away. K6ASN, W7MS.
Yeah, thanks, W7MS and Collins Group, K6ASN. Well, I guess first and foremost, congrats on the good news there, Jim. And yeah, that's quite the celebration dinner. That's good on you for that. Well, here on the ICOM 716 in Marathon 811H on the 130-foot doublet here in Whitewood, California. Waiting for the month of heat to end. I think we hit 95 today, and I think we've hit 90 or better every day over the last 30 days. So definitely ready for this heat to go away. Contest season continues to truck away between the IARU and the North America Reedy contest. Managed to get my DXCC count up to about 45, so almost halfway there. Here's the hoping, right? But the work on the microwave stuff does continue. It is two parts. First bit up in August, second bit up in September. Definitely shooting for the September timeline, and we'll see how August goes. Just got ended up replying to the seller. Forgive me for forgetting his call sign. The guy who had the 30L1. I think it was the tune capacitor up for sale. So ended up responding back to him. Just picked it up out of the PO box today, hoping to get it into the 30L1 in quotation marks soon and get that going. I can't wait to be able to join this net on actual Collins gear. So here's open one day. With that, I'll pass it back, or actually, this goes over to WJ6W from K6ASN.
K6ASN, WJ6W. Okay, Raul, we look forward to hearing you on Collins gear, or any gear, but Collins gear is lots of fun to use. We're using the KWM2 tonight and 30L1. Let's see, I want to tweak my 30L1 just a hair here. There we go. So good to hear you and everyone else. Good conditions tonight. And want to say to Ken, of course, great on the PET scan results, like everyone else is saying. I knew you were having some issues there, and that's all good news, and you deserved a great dinner tonight. So excellent. Let's see, Dennis, I wanted to thank you about referring me to that Rack Pack episode last week where Dave in England, who's kind of head of a club there, came up with a video system to keep the club going during the pandemic. I got caught up in it and watched the whole thing, and it was very interesting how I think he found an excuse to do something he really wanted to do. He found a way to make a television system he always wanted to make and have a purpose for it. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool presentation. And him and his wife ran a TV station. I think they ran was it a weekly program streaming to keep a club together, a ham club together there in England. So it was pretty neat. Let's see. George, great on getting your KWM2 fixed. And on the TS450, I have a call and a name of a guy who fixes Kenwood equipment. It's an N6AX John, and he's in Placentia. I think that's Orange County, I'm not sure. Met him once at Wayne's W6IRD, and he does new repair. So I don't know if he's willing to volunteer information or not, but if you look him up on QRZ N6AX, maybe he can give you some pointers there on the TS450. Okay, let's see. And Mike, very good on the review of the Collins signal. Haven't received it here yet. For some reason, I usually get them a little later than others, some others, especially you, Mike. So anyway, we'll look forward to that and perusing it. So that's it for me for the moment, and I'll send it over to Mel, WA6JBD, WJ6W.
All right, WJ6W, WA6JBD. Thank you, Dave. Hey, you mentioned N6AX on doing some Kenwood repair. Now, I don't know the guy well, but I have met him a handful of times through the Microwave Society, and he struck me as a very sharp individual. I would make an endorsement on that recommendation, and he probably can help you out if he's got time. Anyway, I am running the IC7300 tonight and the Ameritron 811H amplifier to the usual 100-foot doublet and about 600 watts. Not quite as much as Collins and Denson amplifier produce, but it works. And I've been out and about, out in the desert running an errand with my son and a friend of mine looking at a site, radio site that he had bought through a tax auction. And so that was a bit of an adventure, and we had a good time, and I came dragging my sorry butt back here very tired and not highly motivated, but I fired up the radio. I didn't have enough time to warm up the call-in gear and didn't feel like dealing with the heat after being out in 106-degree high desert weather. So there you go. Yeah, let's see. I think that's about it for this go-around. Back to you, Mike. W7MS, WH6JBD.
Well, thank you, Mel, and my apologies to Dave in Las Vegas. KD7TOA, take a turn and then back to me.
Okay, Mike, this is Dave in Las Vegas. I'm just enjoying my time here listening to everybody. I don't really have a whole lot to say. I'm just mostly listening and learning. So I'm going to say 73 to you guys and pass it back to you, Mike, and you can continue on with the mid-talkers and the heavyweights. 73.
Okay, well, thanks, Dave. Well, nice to hear you from Vegas, and your cohort ND7M in Pahrump isn't on tonight, but we've been following the news for the what's been going on in that county with the justice of the peace. It's always interesting in Nevada when it comes to politics, but great to hear you this evening, and welcome back anytime. So, Rebels DXCC 45 worked. Congratulations. It appears you're doing it the old-fashioned way rather than in digital modes where you could achieve that on autopilot. And Dave, good referral there to George for some potential repair advice. And Mel was busy out in the desert with his son. Well, that's okay. That's good. But the 7300 811H and the doublet's doing just fine. So no issues there. So tell you what, one last shout out for any additional stragglers here for the Friday Evening Collins Collectors Association. Give me a call, W7MS. Any relays? Well, I hear a little bit of noise there, but that might be the southeast U.S. Any opinions?
Yeah, I agree with that, Mike. W60Q.
Okay, well, thank you, Dennis. And thank you again, Dennis. Appreciate it. Boy, I'm working off a memory tonight, and apparently I think I need a piece of paper here and a pen to really try to get this thing going. But maybe that's age related or just maybe heat stroke. I think we'll use it. That'll be heat stroke. Kind of matches us all with the heat dome we've been dealing with here. And it's I think it seems depending on where you look on the internet, it's worldwide, but I think in the southern hemisphere it's supposed to be winter. So I think someplace it's probably easily below 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So let me see. We're gonna turn it back to Dennis, W6DQ. Maybe we'll make this a 73 round. How's that sound, Dennis? W6DQ over to KF6QNG. Then Ken. Again, congratulations, KW1NG. W6YEC George. K6ASN Raul. Dave, WJ6W, and we'll just run it all the way to the bottom of the list to Mel, WA6JBD. So, Dennis, take it away with any more observations. I appreciate it. W6DQ, W7MS.
Well, very good. W7MS in the CollinsNet W6DQ. Yeah, a couple of things. First of all, you guys beat me to it about John for George. I've known John for many, many years, and John's a good guy, and he knows his stuff for sure. And I've referred many, many people to him. You know his background is he used to be, when Yesu was down there in Cerritos, he was bench tech there. And when they moved that operation out, he went over to HRO before they had the fire at the HRO store in Anaheim, and he was bench tech there. And that job went away because all of the documentation, all of their library burned to a crisp in that fire. So he was kind of out of luck. And so he went off on his own and has, I guess, put together his own library, and he does a lot of repair work. And apparently I just saw John recently, and I don't remember where it was. It might have been down at, I don't know. I can't remember where I saw him. I just saw him a little while back. Maybe it was out at Dayton or something. I don't know. But, yeah, you can't go wrong. And yeah, all his contact information is there in QRZ. So he's a very, very good reference there. So good on you guys. Let's see, Dave, thanks for the comments on the Rat Pack. Yeah, that was an interesting session. And David and Tammy, two really cool people. And yeah, doing his doing what he has passion for is video, and that gave him an opportunity to play with the stuff that he wanted to play with, and I just think that's wonderful. So good on him. And we've had a lot of fun with the club there, the Norfolk Amateur Radio Club. One of the other guys on Rat Pack and myself have done a number of presentations for them, and hopefully we'll be doing some more in the future. And it was really great to have him, the two of them, come on and join us on Rat Pack the other night at 2 o'clock in the morning their time. It was pretty neat. Let's see, what else? What else have I got here? Oh, Mel in the high desert. Yeah, we know about that. That's where we are, of course. And yeah, we know about high desert living. Yuck. I shouldn't say yuck. We love it out here, but it is hot. And equally cold in the wintertime. It gets down, it's the lowest temperature I've hit here at our location is it's 12 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the lowest temperature I've recorded here is 12 degrees Fahrenheit. That's pretty darn cold for the desert. And Mike, you mentioned the article in the Signal. The automatic call director, that is the bane of my existence. I hate those things. I think that is the worst invention ever created. Just absolutely the worst thing. I want to talk to a person. I don't want to talk to a machine. I got into it with our cable company, Mediacom, the other day. Their automatic call director, it is just useless. Trying to get to somebody, and it's like, when all else fails, press O, and generally that'll bypass an automatic call director and take you to an operator, but not always. But I just hate those things. So, how do I really feel about that? Anyway, Mike, hey, thanks for running the net this evening. As always, great signal. Everybody sounds great, and everybody's doing really well, and nice to hear everybody tonight. So, we'll have to see who we got. I don't know who's going to be up next week, because I think I'm up next week. I don't know. We'll see. I got to look at the calendar. Anyway, I'll be back. But anyway, I'm going to send it over to Lisa. Thanks again, Mike. 7-3 all, and a good evening. Have a great weekend. And over to Lisa, KF6QNG, and the Collins Net, W6DQ.
Okie doke. Thank you. Well, I want to wish everyone a good weekend. Stay safe from the heat, from the fires, from whatever life throws at you. So try to hang in there. And we'll talk with you next week, hopefully. So go to Ken, KW1NG from KF6QNG.
Okay, thanks, Lisa. KF6QNG in the group, KW1NG here in Alpine. We I looked up N6AX on QRZ, like Dennis mentioned, and he does list that TS450 as being one of the Kenwoods he can repair. So, well, that's a pretty good pedigree for him, working at Yesu fixing those, and then on to HRO fixing those. That's how I got my start at Gary Radio. down in San Diego on Claremont Mesa Boulevard. That's how I got my start right out of high school, fixing radios on a bench there, and did that for a couple years, and it made me want to know more. So I went and got my 2-year technical degree at a local junior college, Mesa Junior College, and then that made me want to know more, so I enrolled at San Diego State and got my EE. So yeah, that's a good place to learn a lot and know a lot, fixing random problems on random radios. There's another guy that I can talk to you about, George. He fixed my IC756, and he did a good job on that, and that's Lou ND6W over in Coronado. He repaired my 756 and did a good job at it. ND6W, he's right off of Orange there in Coronado. So that's another resource you might check out, and I have his phone number if you would like to call him. Let's see, I wrote down a note here that said off-grid garage, and about the weather being hot here and cold somewhere else. Well, there's a guy that runs a YouTube site called Off-Grid Garage, and it's everything solar. He talks about all kinds of batteries and BMSs and so forth, and he's a very, very sharp guy. Anyway, it's winter there right now because he's in Australia, and it's interesting to hear him talk about their weather there compared to our weather here. So he always talks about the weather as being so many amps outside. You know, if a real good day, it's 100 amps outside. A bad day, it's 20 amps outside. But he has very high temperature extremes there in Australia. And let's see, another cold place. Yeah, we went to Tombstone one year in the motorhome and camped out over the Christmas break, a couple of weeks down there with some friends, and explored the area and went to Tombstone and all that. And at the campground, I remember getting up and making the early morning walks around the campground. And one morning, I spotted a dog at the camp office. It was outside, and he was staring at his water dish. And I thought, no, maybe there's an animal in it or something. So I kind of walked over that way, and his water dish was frozen. And he just could not understand how he could not get a drink out of that water dish. It just was befuddling him. And, I felt sorry for him, but it was sort of funny, too. Oh, my goodness. And, yeah, next week, Dennis, 2nd of August, I guess you're up. So, very good on that. That's about it for me. Everybody else have a very good rest of the evening and a very nice weekend. We'll talk to you all later. Goes to W6YEC, George. And like I say, if you want Lou's phone number over there in Coronado, just let me know. KW1NG 736.
All right, Ken. Thank you, W6YEC. And thank you for recommendation on N6AS. Yeah, I looked him up there. That's interesting. I will get a hold of him. Lou, I know, Ken, I've supplied a lot of parts for Lou. And he'll call me from time to time. Yeah, he's a good tech over there in Coronado. But, anyway, and so I have his number. And the email you sent me or the text, I already looked at that Australian fellow, the DK, and that was a receiver audio C102 or something like that in the receiver audio. And yeah, I was hoping it might lead me in the right direction, but it didn't. All right. Well, I'll let you guys know what my conversation with John is like, and I do appreciate that. Yeah, it looks like really knows what he's doing, but high recommendation. So it'll be interesting to see. It would be something I would probably be willing to send off to him because I'm not as agile as I used to be at the camp. is a little more challenging for me these days, especially if I have to go get someone and walking around and what have you. So it stretches me a bit. So, but I thought it was worth taking a look at this radio, see if I could come up with a problem on it and being a good backup radio for the future for my friend who got me 480. All right, I don't have much more here. Looking forward to seeing my son and grandson tonight. So I will say 70 degrees to everybody. Thanks, Mike, for running the net. Thanks for picking this up. Appreciate it. And again, all the help there on a recommendation. I appreciate that. So Raul, it's yours. I don't know if I have your call correct. It's a 7 ASN, I know that. So correct me, give me the first part of the call there, Raul. W6YC.
Yeah, the first part is Kilo 6. This is Kilo 6, Alpha Sierra, November.
Okay, thanks. I wrote it down as a 7, so I knew that wasn't right. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for that. W6YC. This is Kilo 6, Alpha Sierra, November. Here with the Collins group. Well, not a lot more to add. Like I mentioned in the early check-in, the procrastination was a really good reason to get my test bench back up. Coming up on 2 years in this house, and would you believe it? All my test equipment was still in boxes and gathering dust up on a faraway rack. So it's good. It's a good thing to bring it out, power it up, see if it still works, and glad that it did. So I got my signals generator, got my oscilloscope going back. Of course, my analyzer here that I just unboxed about a month ago. So slowly but surely, maybe in another year, I'll actually have all of this stuff up and actually resembling a proper test bench, maybe. Not a whole lot more to add. So I will say 7-3 everyone, and have a pleasant evening, and pass it over to WJ670, K6ASN.
K6ASN, WJ6W. Okay, Raul, good evening to you, and 73 to everybody else here on the 73 round of the Collins net. Let's see. Well, good luck on your test bench. Hope you get that going faster than you think you will. But anyway, yours, the TS450. That was a radio I always wanted. I knew that it had mainly because it had a wider AM filter than the standard 6 kilohertz, so you got better AM broadcast fidelity out of it, as I recall. So I was always kind of interested in one of those, but now the modern radios have surpassed it. But anyway, it's a very nice radio, so I think it is worth getting fixed, and it'll make it a really good backup, that's for sure. Let's see, the only other news I have is my neighbor across the street, who has nothing to do with ham radio or anything like that, sent me a Facebook post that appeared in her feed. I don't know anything about Facebook, but anyway, that's what she said. About Apex Surplus here, who was advertising that they got a whole bunch of amateur radio and military gear in, and of course it's available. So I just passed that along. There was a picture with it. It looked like it was all military gear as far as I could tell from World War II. But anyway, they said it's a huge amount, and they said the pictures they showed didn't were kind of like the tip of the iceberg, I guess. So anyway, if anyone is in the area and wants to go to Apex, sounds like they have a bunch of very vintage ham gear available. Okay, that's it for me, and I'll send it over to Mel. Good night, everybody. WA6JVD, WJ6W.
All right, WJ6W and the Collins at WA6JVD. Dave, on the Apex Electronics out in Sun Valley, I've been going there for years, and I saw that email go by, and I'm going to be making a trip out there sometime in the next week or so with a wad of cash to see if I can find something worthwhile. It's a fascinating place. They've got electronic surplus, aerospace surplus. Go outside, you can buy yourself an F-86 wingtip tank, or you can go inside and buy Teflon space-qualified wire for $7 a pound. I'm not sure what the current price is, but that was the last time I bought it. They have an eBay presence. That's pricey. My wife has gone in there with plates full of homemade chocolate truffles. They know her as the truffle lady, and I get some fabulous discounts. So they're not immune to bribery. Anyway, it's a fascinating place. And if you can make it out there, look up Apex Electronics in San Fernando or Sun Valley, and you can find the address. It's really worth the trip just to go out and look, let alone buy something. It's neat. Very, very nice people out there, and obviously very friendly. Let's see, Raul, I will see you at SBMS next week. Looking forward to it. And Dennis, DQ, I spent 40-plus years working out in the desert at the mountain place out there. You know my background. And if I'm outside at 106 degrees like it was today, I'm in my element. It's not the only time my old tired bones don't actually ache. So that's nice. I enjoy the heat, but it was, being retired now, I won't do that as much as I'd like to. So I had a good time out there playing around out in the desert. And my last comment before I pass it back to Mike is Ken and George, if your signal strength rivalry is still going on, you're close about 20 over F9 here. So it's excellent signals, and you win the prize for highest received signal here in Upland at WA6JBD. So anyway, 73 guys, I'm glad I was able to pop in and catch you all before the net ended, and I will catch you next week. Let's see, W7MS, WA6JBD. Good night, guys.
Well, thanks, Mel. Still feeling the power of Collins radio through that 7300 and the 811H WA6JBD W7MS. Well, good reception from all. Some great advice in leads for George. And Ken was giving his resume, and I think my early resume was doing bench work at Nevada CB Center. But that was a long time ago. But I think I can name drop one of the customers that would frequent the place was Bill Lear. And, of course, he was getting, even then, advanced. He's probably in his 80s. But I guess even if there wasn't a ham store in Reno, in the Reno area, he would still check out the CB shop. Needless to say, what FT101s might be hidden under the desk, so to speak, for the HF freebander bootlegger folks. So, but with that, on an official. I said that on an official Collins Collectors Association frequency. I'm in trouble now. But this is W7MS. It's been a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing this on my monthly rotation. And, of course, next Friday will be Dennis in the driver's seat. W6DQ. But this is W7MS saying thanks again. We're going to officially close out the net and return this frequency to normal amateur use, W7MS. Good night.